This lady decided that Singapore needed its own version of traditional Malay dance and came up with her own choreography that is being represented today as Singapore's very own Malay dance. And for that, this Empress was awarded the National Youth Service Cultural Medallion and the Anugerah Warisan Kencana. Meet local legend Som Said. As a little girl, Madam Som Said learned to dance from movies, visiting the cinema with her sisters to watch Malay films. She would then try to imitate the moves in front of the mirror when she got home. At 14 years old, she was invited to join her friend's dance troupe, Sri Wana, and she began to take part in public performances. The dance troupe performed folk dances, but tradition was not emphasized, which gave Madam Som the idea to make interesting changes to the traditional Malay choreography, such as featuring more unusual props like trays, drums, and beetle boxes. However, while she loved the traditional Malay folk dances, she wanted to create new works that reflected her Singaporean upbringing. She drew inspiration from attending weddings, carefully observing the movement in the ceremonies and people's interactions with each other to use in the creation of her new choreography. In 1970, she joined the National Dance Company, a new troupe set up by the government that had people trained in Chinese, Malay, and Indian dance. The company's main goal was actually to create a new dance tradition that would reflect the cultures of all three major races in Singapore. 2 years later, the company performed at the Adelaide Festival in Australia, and to her surprise, the international audience loved the show, proving that a young multicultural country like Singapore was able to develop a unique culture of its own. In fact, Madam Som was so moved by the reception that she named her son Adel after the festival. Unfortunately, the company closed down in 1985 due to financial troubles. In its place, the Singapore Multi-Ethnic Dance Ensemble, a dance troupe for kids run by Madam Som together with two other fellow dancers, was formed. Since 1997, Madam Som has been the artistic director of her own company, Sri Warisan. It is known as Singapore's first professional Malay dance company because its performers received full salaries. But here's the kicker. Madam Som isn't just simply a pioneer of a form of Singapore Malay dance. She's also the founder of Singapore's first Malay wedding boutique, Ratu Sari Bridal House and Photo Studio, and also personally designed the wedding apparel. In the later years of her career, she rarely dances but still teaches classes and serves as a judge for the Singapore Youth Festival's Malay dance presentation. What's more, she spent 5 years researching the history of Malay dance in Singapore and has since published a book of her journey in Malay dance. For her contributions to the Malay dance scene, she was awarded the Cultural Medallion in 1987 and the Public Service Medal in 1992. She was also inducted into the Singapore Women's Hall of Fame in 2014 after redefining Malay dance in Singapore and firmly planting us on the international stage. The question is, where is Madam Som now? Today we came down to Madam Som Said's studio, Sri Warisan, to see if we were able to catch her in action.
Looking for me?
Madam Som Said?
Yes, I am. This way, please.
By chance, Madam Som was around and we were able to get an exclusive interview to find out what she's up to these days.
Good afternoon to you, Madam Som. Just want to say, I've heard some people refer to you as the Empress of the Malay dance. And I can confirm that you have the aura of a queen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So I just kind of would like to know actually, as a kid, how did you actually get into Malay dance?
I was attracted to dance because I followed my two sisters who always want to go to cinema, Malay cinema. During that time, it was a classical movies and definitely there will be singing and dancing.
Yes.
And the dancing is always, like attract me, and then I will go home and dance in front of the mirror.
So you learned how to dance by watching movies. Did you ever consider, getting a professional coach back then, or back then there was no option?
At that time, it was like you just imitate and you follow and you remember and you teach to your friends. So I've been dancing with my neighbors or also schoolmates through sports day.
They should make it a dance day instead of a sports day.
Yeah.
So could you share some struggles you went through as a dancer?
My late mum refused to allow me to go for my regular rehearsals. A Malay girl cannot dance. And how do I overcome that challenge? I brought her and I introduced her to my friends. So she looked around at the environment. It's all very family oriented. So you can go for your regular rehearsals, but she will be accompanying me all this while.
Okay, so regarding traditional Malay dance and everything, you created your own version of Malay dance in Singapore. So can you share with us a bit about your creative process behind this?
When I started Sriwana, I embraced all the traditional dance form. It is originated from Medan, Indonesia, and was brought in to Singapore. And not realizing that I was the person who stand in front and teaching the friends that were also new. Whoever is available, that will be the the person who teach. So I started choreographing, and then I created my own dance style with just my imagination. So I break away from the foundation. So everything I created like become wow factor at the time. So many turning points. So that's where my choreography began.
Yeah, speaking about that, because I heard that you were using some unusual props for some of the plays and everything. So people were like, oh, okay, that's very different.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit more about that?
If you see, Malay dance is a folk dance, all hand gesture. But then, because my late mom, she will talk to me about Som Said. She will explain to me why is she preparing all this. So from all her stories about the symbolic props, so I introduced tepak sirih, bunga mangga, all that you see in Malay celebration, festive seasons and all that. That is what I use to create my work.
That is amazing. Yeah. So let me just take you back a little bit to the time when you were with your national dance company. So you were surrounded by dancers from like all the other cultures as well. How did you manage to integrate all the different dancers together?
Before I joined the National Dance Company, I have all the background from Mrs. Santa Baska and so on and so forth. And very soon I become the artist, creative choreographer, assisting Francisco. But actually at that time, Singapore was looking for an identity. So we do the Malay dance, Singapore style, folk dance, classical dance, and then we become Indian dancer, we become Chinese dancers and all that. And all the three was very well received.
So just to take you back to Adelaide as well, do you remember what it was like dancing for the Adelaide Festival?
At first, before we go to Adelaide, we were wondering, why are we practicing so hard? But we enjoy every moment, And I realized that the requirement for the standard at International Festival was great, fantastic, and I have that feeling, My feeling at Adelaide Festival was like, oh, it's a wow thing, until, as I said, it became a turning point that I came back and I set up a Malay children dance class, wanting to start them early.
What other festivals did you take part besides Adelaide as well?
I cannot remember.
Oh, there's quite a few lah.
Many, because from there we got a lot of invitation. Until now, we are still moving to that direction because we want the world to see what is Singapore dance.
So I understand that you've written a book already about the history of Malay dance. Have you found any interesting facts that you can share about Malay dance that not many of us know?
So I cover all the aspect of the beginning of me, starting from zero to cultural organization and to National Dance Company. You see, so many things to write. And now I am with the Arts Education Program, providing 17 programs. So all inside this book. That was 2018. And 2022, we have it published in English. So that was the book.
So I would like to ask you as well, because what did receiving the cultural medallion, the public service and being inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame mean to you?
Every award that I receive means so much because it comes from the people. It comes from the community who recognize what I do. And it doesn't mean that I stop here. It's not easy. But then this is my choice because in Malay we call it dakwah. Dakwah dalam tari. I am embracing all the young people to move together with me to be a good individual through dance.
That's amazing. So Empress, let me ask you, what are you doing these days and what's next for Som Said?
I am still teaching at NAFA, at SOTA. Recently, at this age 73, I was invited to talk, to share my journey at Chulalongkorn University and many other universities in Thailand. I am advisors to many organizations and I want to continue doing this.
So Madam Som, I'd like to ask you, what advice can you give to budding traditional Malay dancers and performers out there?
In life, you can be very educated, but what is important is knowledge and then the experience. With this knowledge, you have experience, and the third one is skill. So these three will bring you far. Not fast, but far. And there's no shortcut to success.
And there you have it, the legend of Singapore's Empress of Malay dance, Som Said. Many Malay cultural dancers in Singapore will carry on her legacy now and in time to come as she continues to shape the future of Malay dance. Let us know your thoughts and who you would like to see featured next in our local legends. Where are they now?